What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Unscripted Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Eduardo, and I'm here with my co-host, Edward. What is up, Edward?
How's it going?
Not much, man. Another week in the NFL in the books. Um, a lot of good games, a lot of interesting games, a lot of very close games that came down to the wire. Few games, were blown out, blowouts. Um, one we probably won't even talk about. But another one, obviously, your Steelers won. But
I mean, we could
what is
choose to
your
talk. I mean, we could choose to talk about that one.
All right, but what is your biggest takeaway from week 11? Can't believe we're already in week 11 in the NFL, but what is your biggest takeaway?
Same here. I can't believe we're really in week 11, but week 11, I don't know about contenders or pretenders. Still think that week 11, we're still kind of seeing like a lot of parity. I know the Colts were on a bye, and I don't know, it's still pretty
But
up for grabs, at least in the AFC, but I think the NFC, I don't. I
by
mean,
now, by now we should know which teams like you kind of certain fan bases you can tell. Okay, your team is probably not going to do much in the playoffs or not. They're not really contenders. Um, so you can kind of see already that certain teams already there. Obviously, like the in the AFC's it's a lot of it's a close race. NFC's same things too. Certain divisions it's gonna come down to the wire to who wins that certain division. But yeah, man, it's I can't believe we're already in week 11.
yep.
Yeah, but let's jump right into it. We could talk about I guess your Steelers. The Steelers took on the Bengals. Divisional rivalry, AFC North football. This was the second game of the two games they play against each other. This was a home game for the Steelers. You guys were able to win 34 to 12, beat them, uh, belt to ass. But we're gonna talk
You wanna?
about
I know you're
we're
gonna
gonna
bring
just
up
yeah
the
situation.
extracurriculars that took place, and
Obviously, we'll get to the game, the actual game, but we'll talk about what happened in the field. Um, Jamar Chase and Jalen Ramsey had a encounter. Things were said. Um, during watching the game, you just like we every I think people watching the game they just thought okay like Jalen Ramsey like punched Jamar Chase and like did something got his helmet turned his helmet around and then when you saw clips you kind of see Jamar Chase spitting at Jalen Ramsey and everybody
not.
knows.
I mean, it's not kind of. It's kind of
I mean yeah, he
kind of
spit on
kind of some
He's
kind of solid 4K upon further review.
Yeah. Um, he denied it. He was interviewed and he basically said, um, I didn't open my mouth to that guy. And he was asked this twice and denied it both times, but he was caught on 4K spitting on Jalen Ramsey, and everybody knows that's probably you could look in sports in general and in football, trash talking is part of the game and everything, but spitting on spitting on somebody is probably the biggest sign of like disrespect, and that is not tolerated at all. In any sport, and basically in general, like you're not gonna spit on me, and you think I'm gonna be okay with. And what's your thought? I mean, you could probably gonna say what Jalen Ramsey said in the post interview after that happened too.
I mean,
Because Jalen Ramsey was taken out of the game too.
yes, because he threw the punch, and that counts as disqualification. But
Yeah,
yeah, you can say it's a reasonable crash out.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, Jalen said what he said. He said pretty much after all that, it's pretty much like it's that football at this point. I'm just paraphrasing what he said, but yeah, just general AFC North ball, another chapter, and yeah, just another chapter in the AFC North ball. I appreciate that. I don't really appreciate the action, but you see the consequences. He'll be suspended for the Patriots game for
He spent it one game.
yeah, punishment fits the crime. But yeah, it's just more and more the Bengals just unraveling. Currently sitting at 3-7. It really makes no point. I'm pretty sure like the way they're trending doesn't really make a point whether or not Joe Burrow comes back. They're not saving the season. Yeah, but Yeah, it's just another chapter in the whole, in just another AFC North football. As you can see from my background, the first, if you really examine it closely, the first picture up top, that is when Joe Flacco threw a pick six against the Houston Texans in the divisional round. He was a
Hmm.
Cleveland Brown at the time. The middle picture, this is Joe Flacco's time at the Ravens when he threw a pick six to Troy Polamalu, which
That was
helped
in
us
the
get to
AFC
our
Championship, right? AFC
yes,
Championship
which helped us get to our record-setting sixth Super Bowl. And the bottom photo,
is the recent one.
yep, that is Kyle Duggar taking it to the end zone. And you see the instigator in the background right there. That was yesterday's game. So yeah, something consistent. No matter wherever Joe Flacco goes in the AFC North, I'll always remember him for doing said things. There's always a pick six coming, and it's always his legacy.
Mhm.
But yeah, back to
But
the whole AFC North. AFC North brawl. Yeah, we built ass the we went belt to ass the Bengals. Starting quarterback went down, but we kind of
well, like you said, I mean, like not to like you said, like their season's kind of over. I mean, not like doesn't justify what he did, but I guess his frustration. This is like another year with Joe Burrow hurt, being out, and I'm sure they want to win, and things were said and stuff like that, and like I said, that doesn't mean this excuse him for doing like anything like that, but
probably
I'm sure he's frustrated.
just wanted to keep it
Uh,
consistent.
yeah, but yeah, man. Well, we'll talk about the two quarterbacks were actually hurt in this game. Obviously Aaron Rodgers got hurt in this game. His left wrist. Um, I guess it seems not to be as bad as like a season ending, but he could miss a few games. Um, Mason Rudolph came in the game and he what 12 for 16 and threw a touchdown for Kenneth Gainwell, which he had himself another game with two touchdowns. The offense, how do you think the offense looked with Mason? Obviously, this is he's been there before. Um, you know,
I mean, throughout the game, it was. I mean, we pretty much saw mistake-free football on the Steelers end. So, I mean, I wasn't really too concerned when Aaron went down. I was actually pretty. It's not. I mean, I was pretty. I was pretty. I think I felt maybe a level of comfort when Mason came to the game. It's
mhm.
probably because yeah, I know Mason's probably had like kind of an up and down career, but his time with the Steelers, I think he has kind of stepped up to the opportunity, and even going back to the season before last, his last stint with the Steelers, there there were times where like he kind of did have to come off the bench, and he pretty much leaned into the backup role, took care of the football, kind of helped. I think he contributed to like winning some games down the stretch, kind of like helped keep the playoff hopes alive. So I think Mason's probably like what we've seen in the NFL now is like you kind of need like a quality backup just in case like anything goes south. And
Especially
I feel
nowadays, you definitely need a quarterback, a good
yeah.
quality quarterback.
So I wouldn't say I'm nervous or I feel I think we can be fine with Mason if Mason has to start next week against Chicago. But
You guys got the
yeah,
Bears, and obviously Aaron, I'm sure he wants to play that game against the Bears because he has a long history playing against the Bears. So I'm sure he wants to play that game, but it's most likely he probably won't play that game. Um, but the next games, what do you have? Like, who do you have next games? You have I mean the Bears, because then you still got the next two. You got the Ravens. I know that.
next games we got we got the Bears, the Bills.
Okay, the Bills. That one. Do
Yeah,
you
that one.
do you feel confident that if Mason Rudolph is a starting quarterback in that game, do you feel confident that he's going to be able to put up points? Because Josh Allen's going to put up points. The Bills are going to put up points. You saw we're going to talk about them, their game, but Do you feel confident on with this offense with Mason Rudolph running the offense? And is that a home game or a away game?
That is a home game for Pittsburgh.
Okay. Do you feel confident in this offense against Buffalo?
I mean, from what we've seen with Buffalo, they're still a little shaky and a little up and down, but I think Josh Allen puts them in a position to at least like give them a chance. But we also know their defense is still a little, especially their run defense into the even in the last few weeks. Even though I think did they have a no. I think the week before last they had a bye, but their run defense is still a little shaky.
The
So
Falcons game, obviously with Bijan Robinson. Um, who else? This week they had the running back Sean Tucker from the Bucks. He had himself a game. We'll talk about that later. But he said, yeah, I feel like maybe in that game be more of a Jalen Warren, Kenneth Gainwell type of game. Mason can run. That's a little different from Aaron Rodgers. He's a little bit more mobile. Aaron Rodgers kind of gets rid of the football quickly so he doesn't get hit. Obviously, he's 41 years old. You don't want to get hit. Is so that's I guess an advantage for the offense and for Mason Rudolph.
I mean, yeah, it's just like with Buffalo, it's kind of like a we'll see thing. So
Yeah.
I'm not. It's not really not something that kind of worries me, but the week to week basis of the NFL season is kind of we'll see.
Yeah.
So
Well, he said, I mean, most likely Mason Rudolph's gonna play against the Bears, so that should be a really we'll see what Artie Smith and him come up with. But he, like I said, the offense looked good. The defense really stepped up, pressure Flacco a lot of times. Like I said, he got picked off. And what Jamar Chase, he only led him with like what two catches,
3 catches, 30 yards.
30 yards. Chase Brown, obviously, I think you still I feel like sometimes you guys do struggle with stopping the run. Chase Brown had 99 yards on 18 carries. But like I said, the defense has really improved. The Bengals offense, like I said, only 12 points. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. Like I said, it's in this it's a week to week basis in this NFL. Obviously, you need a backup quarterback, but we'll see. You guys are first in the division. Um,
Yep, still on top of the division.
two games
Like
up, 2 games in front of the Ravens, which you guys still have to play 2 games
mhm.
against them, and then you guys already played both games against the Browns. I mean the Bengals. The Browns, you guys have one more week, right? Yeah, you still have one more game against the Browns. But yeah, man, we'll see. It's we'll see what happens. The division it's still up there. We'll see what happens with the Ravens coming back. But while we're talking about the Ravens and Browns, let's talk about the Ravens and Browns, another AFC North matchup, um, which which had a lot of surprise. I mean, Shador came in. Dylan Gabriel had a concussion. He got hit.
Yep.
Um, Shador came in. The crowd and the fans in Cleveland were excited. It's been a while since they've had a excitement, but
I mean, that's pretty
um,
much the only bright spot of Cleveland, Ohio. So even in a losing effort, they'll take whatever optimism they can at least try to figure out in that in that state.
but what was your thoughts on Shador? I mean, you can't really like he came in. He hasn't even taken a snap with the first team any reps.
Mhm.
They don't know his cadence or anything like that. I mean, they just kind of threw him in the fire like
I mean, yeah,
when you're a backup, you're running like the Baltimore Ravens offense. And he hasn't even having any reps with the Browns first team. So I mean, you can't he had some bad moments and he obviously had the interception, but there was some good sides where he could have there was a ball he scrambled and threw the ball and
mhm.
almost got caught the ball in the end zone, but it wasn't
Yeah,
and
that's the
he
thing. Yeah, that's the thing as a backup quarterback, especially like when you're kind of like thrown into the fire during the game. I think you kind of have to like adjust like the original game plan you had coming in to like fit what your backup quarterback can do when you're just kind of doing it on the fly. But
and
I mean, yeah, Shador. I don't want to say it was like a deer in headlights, but it was really just. I know he has to stay ready, but it was just more.
I mean he's a
You
rookie
just
too, man. And you're playing against
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Ravens. And he's playing against the Ravens, so it's not really much you can really say much about this game. Honestly, man, both quarterbacks are just they're not in a good situation, to be honest with you. Offensively, the Browns they don't really have much anybody besides, I mean, Judkins. Um, yeah, I mean, offensively, the Browns are pretty bad. Defensively, they've made some stops. Myles Garrett had 4 sacks against Lamar, and they picked off Lamar twice. Um, they were still able to, the Ravens were still able to get the win, obviously with with the little trick play with Mark Andrews, kind of his first rushing touchdown of his career, um, which keeps the Ravens alive right now. They're 5-5, and still has a chance to win in the division.
Still plenty of
But
ballers. So I mean, obviously in that division, it's still like regardless of what happens, you still can't. I won't say count anybody out, but it's just more like you kind of have to expect the unexpected in that division.
yeah, I mean, like if you guys would have won last week, that you guys would have been what, 8-3,
No, 7-3.
7-3. So that would have been even like even better if you guys would have won that game. But like I said, it's still up for grabs the division. But yeah, man, we'll see what happens in the AFC North football. Let's move on and let's talk about a team that's very surprising, obviously, with new head coach, the Bears, or as Caleb Williams like to say, the Bears, but a little zest, a little with a little bit more zestiness. The NFC North football matchup with the Vikings. Man, these Bears, they remind me of the Commanders of last year winning these close games, these one-score games. Somehow they always manage to win these games, and they're 7-3 right now, and first in the NFC North right now. Who would have thought, especially with that division with the Packers, the Bears, and the Vikings? That the Vikings were in the playoff last year, obviously with a different quarterback.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, these Bears, they're winning these games right now, and Caleb. Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson are they seem to be working out. What's your thoughts on the Bears?
Yeah, early on the season, I feel like Chicago was kind of, I don't want to say traumatized, but like they're kind of like desensitized to like bad quarterback play. So I think they weren't truly all in on Caleb at the time, early on the season. But as time kind of kept growing, I think I think the Chicagoans are starting to buy in and starting to like what they're seeing, and now their defense is starting to improve too. So I mean, the Bears are trending in the right direction, and I feel like Ben Johnson's also built a good culture. So kind of like helps everybody else buy in, still kind of weather the storm of what happens. And as you're seeing, the team still finds ways to get it done in the fourth quarter.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, and it's funny because literally I feel like the turning point of their season is exactly against the Commanders and where they were able to win that game off the field goal and from there on they've been going and I think they like I said they play the Steelers and I feel like they still let me see who they have already beaten. The Lions beat them. The Vikings, so they tie the tiebreaker with they have they're 1-1 with the Vikings. They still have to play the 2 games against the Packers, but they have a tough
Mhm.
schedule. They have the Steelers, the Eagles, and Black Friday. That's a Black Friday for Black Friday game. They have the Packers, then the Browns, which I feel like they should win, but with the Browns defense, who knows? And then they have the Packers again, the Niners and the Lions. So they have a tough schedule. Right now they're 7-3, but they have a
Mhm.
tough schedule. But the teams like the Packers and Lions, they're kind of it's up for grabs because they haven't played well either. But any of those teams, and look at the Vikings. The Vikings, like with JJ McCarthy, I mean, some fans are not liking 9.
I mean, I think that 9 game is kind of being put to bed.
I mean, he had two
Like
picks.
he had a debut, then he kind of got hurt, and then I think really when they're not seeing results, they're just kind of tired of the whole nine shtick and just want quality quarterback play.
Yeah, and then Justin Jefferson, I mean, he was frustrated during the game too. I mean, he had what 5 carries for 61 yards. Um, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see with JJ McCarthy. It's still time. This is technically, even though he's not a rookie, technically this is his rookie season because he didn't play last season. So
Yeah, that's also there's still not really much of a book on JJ McCarthy because even at his time during Michigan, he wasn't really known too much as a pocket passer. Michigan was a more run heavy offense, so
yeah,
I don't know if there's really like enough evidence out there to really like figure out if he's kind of like a guy. I know he's kind of mobile, but the knee injury kind of like hampered him. So
hmm
yeah, I think a lot of people there's still kind of like question marks about JJ McCarthy.
yeah. But I mean, we'll see what happens. But that was one score game, obviously, and the Bears were able to win that game. Let's move on to another game, which, I mean, this game was electric too. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Bills, man. Bills home game. This game, Baker and Josh Allen were going back and forth. Like
Mhm.
Baker was scoring, Josh Allen was scoring, then Baker was scoring. It was just a back and forth game. Um, but the Bills were able to win this game. Josh Allen had himself a day, threw for three touchdowns, and had himself three touchdowns rushing. Obviously, but man, these Bills, they defensively still don't look good. But offensively, Josh Allen is able to do it without a wide receiver number one. With Keon Coleman, he was benched. I guess apparently he was late for a meeting or missed a meeting, so he was benched. But Josh Allen is doing it. I feel like, I mean, I think we all know that Josh Allen has to be Superman just for the Bills to win games, and he did. Even though threw two picks, he balled out. James Cook had a touchdown, passed a touchdown. Gabe Davis, big play game. Gabe Davis him coming back all helps Josh Allen. They didn't have Kincaid, but the Bills, man, the Bills they look good. They beat the Bucks, even though the Bucks still there's they don't have
If they don't
who else?
have Bucky Irvin and Chris Godwin and Mike
Mike Evans,
Williams,
which is out. Yeah,
Mike Evans, Mike
Mike
Evans.
Evans, Mike Evans. I think he's out for the season. And
Yeah,
Buka didn't do much, but the big surprise is Sean Tucker, the running back. He had two rushing touchdowns and ran for 106 yards. Which there you go again. The Bills can't stop the run, and that's the thing. Rashid Rice had 51 yards. Baker Mayfield ran for 39. But what's your thoughts on this game? The Bills were able to win. They're 7-3 right now.
I mean, yeah, it's also just I think I told you last week, like there's just something with the Bills, like that's kind of been the narrative, like kind of like the whole Josh Allen era Bills, like they can look good in the regular season. We still kind of like judge them in the postseason because
Yeah,
for some reason, like they're still a little up and down, but maybe sometimes Josh Allen can play hero ball, or maybe they can just get bailed out by their run game. But I don't know. It's always like something's always missing with the Bills, or they either just run into Patrick Mahomes in the postseason.
yeah.
So the Bills, they're still you can
This
still
is the
put them in the category as contenders, but do we know if they're like is it just gonna be another one and done in the playoffs
because
or
there's certain games that they lost, and it's just like they beat the Chiefs and they beat the Bucks. Those are really good teams that are gonna most likely gonna be in the playoffs. But then they lose against the Falcons, and we already know what the Falcons are. Um, they lost against the Patriots, and they still have most likely. I feel like the Patriots are gonna they're gonna win that second game at home too. The way the Patriots are looking, but like I said, I think I've told you in previous episodes, like they've beaten bad teams too. So the teams that they actually beat that were good were the Bills. I mean, were the Chiefs and the Bucks right now. And the Chiefs, they're kind of
the Chiefs currently sit at 5-5, but this is the thing with the Chiefs. Like, even when they're playing, obviously they lost yesterday. They
yeah.
lost to the
All right.
Broncos in
Let's,
a game, and like they probably could have won. They lost on a
yeah,
last second field goal,
yeah.
but
But
this is the
let's
thing
start.
with
Yeah.
yeah. It's like this is the thing with the Chiefs. Like, even though they sit at 5-5, history shows that even like their current record, we still question like who's to say that they can't go on a
Wait,
run.
wait. But
No,
this is my
mm,
but this is the question. This is the thing. Last year they won. They were able to win close games. This year they haven't. That's the difference from this year and last year. Obviously, it's a new
Hmm.
season, everything like that. But last year they were able to win these close games, and obviously they went to Super Bowl. But then they showed that they got their ass kicked in the Super Bowl. This year they haven't won any close. They didn't win. They haven't won any close games, if I'm not mistaken. And obviously we all thought, with Rashid Rice coming back, everybody coming back, the offense, the Chiefs were the Chiefs.
Hmm.
But are these the Chiefs? Because from what I'm seeing, I don't see, this is not for some reason it's something in this season. It's not. It's even in the first game against the Chargers. Obviously, remember they had the issue with Chris Jones and everything. Like
Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah.
something about this season is
That,
not right, and it's
yeah,
not the
it's
Chiefs.
interesting you bring that up. It's like they had the potential. I think it's just like, especially the games they lost, they've been like one possession games, so it always comes down like their problem is closing out the game.
Yeah,
That's
that's the
their
biggest
issue.
problem.
But like that's what I'm saying. Like even though we question the Chiefs, is still like a part of us still believes like they can still have that. They still have that figure it out thing in them. But I know as they currently stand, still a little we don't know. But I feel like the Chiefs they
Why not in
know
the yeah?
they understand like what they've been going through, and I maybe like they look at it as like it's a next week to really like correct that and make that kind of like have a
But they play
sense
the
of
Colts.
urgency.
But they play the Colts next week. That's a real test for the Colts too. But
That
right
is
now,
true.
as we stand at the playoff start, they are out of the playoffs. They're not in the playoffs. And like I said in the beginning of the season, I even told you this, and like I knew that this was the year that they were going to win the division. The way the Broncos, obviously how they looked last season, how they closed out with Sean Payton with the Broncos, obviously the Chargers. I just to me it was going to be hard for them to win this division, and that's what it's looking. I feel like the way that the Broncos are going, I feel like they're most likely going to win the division. I think the Chargers, their offensive line struggles. They're up and down. They probably won't win the division, but we'll see. But it's looking like the Broncos are going to win the division, and they already beat
Yeah.
they already beat the Chiefs already. And the Chiefs, the only game they've won in the division were against the Raiders. Remember that. So we'll
I
see. They're
mean,
5-5.
yeah, like I said, with I think we're still at a point in the season like
I don't know.
The AFC West. It's still it might come down to like probably the final weeks of the regular season.
But in the like I said, like in the playoffs, a little different. Mahomes, in the playoffs, Mahomes has shown that he can win games. But as of right now, do you think in the playoffs he's going to beat the Broncos? The Chiefs can beat the Broncos the way they're playing, and then they have Patrick Surtain. I mean, yeah, Patrick Surtain, he didn't play too, and the way that this Broncos defense looked, and they got to Mahomes yesterday too. They sacked them. They threw a pick. Um, they were giving it to the Mahomes, and the Broncos, even though offensively for some reason I don't know why in the fourth quarter they just give put up points.
Yeah, I think like maybe like the Chiefs struggles. It does fall on their defense, but I feel like what they need to probably focus on also is like no skill position guys are really hurt. I don't know why. I think Xavier Woods had a pretty quiet game. I don't know why they haven't really been targeting him as much. I understand Rasheed Rice coming back probably took away those snaps,
Yeah.
but
Tyreek,
they really like they don't
or
really have like a lot of skill position guys that are hurt. So I think they still got to like figure out like a formula for their offense to kind of like be
but
start clicking because
think besides
like I
Pacheco,
said,
right? Pacheco's hurt. That's it.
yeah,
Besides
but
him.
yeah, that's it too. But I know Andy Reid's still a creative play caller, and I think when the time comes, they can still sort of like devise a game plan. But I think it still does come down to like whoever their competition is, and like I don't want to say they play down to their competition. It's just like I don't know if they're really like figuring out other strategic ways to like beat their competition or like their competition kind of like out schemes them in certain situations.
Mhm. But what do you think about the Broncos? Are they contenders now after this game
Dude,
that they won? Do you trust Bo Nix in the playoffs? He made some good throws in this game. He made some good throws, especially that one against to I think it was to Franklin, trying to basically to win it by the field goal. That was a really good throw.
I mean, Bo Nix has shown signs. There's still some moments. Like I still remember the Thursday night game. Everybody's probably
The
like sleeping
Raiders.
during that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that's
like
divisional football.
yeah,
That's a
they
division
they
division
won,
game.
but also like he didn't necessarily look his best. The defense kind of bailed him out too.
Yeah,
But
a defense wins championships too. So
I mean, yeah, their defense is good. It's just still, I feel like that their offense can either win them games or lose them games. Sometimes it's still, even though they're sitting at 9-2, the Broncos, it's still a little, still kind of a question mark. I think maybe we still need to see more. I know their defense is good. It's just like we still need to see more of like, can this team truly contend
yeah, McMillan
or
had
make
himself
or
a
make a
game.
deep run
Yeah,
in the playoffs?
yeah. I mean, for them to win, to have a home playoff game is gonna be in their favor. Obviously, in Mile High, with that altitude,
Mhm.
it, that's in favor for them. If they were able to win this division and get a home playoff game, it's gonna be tough there, and it's gonna end. I personally think it's gonna end the streak of the Chiefs winning 9 consecutive um divisional AFC West divisional, but we'll see what happens. But I do like the Broncos the way they're playing. Sean Payne has done a great job there. But we'll see about the Chiefs. But I think it's not looking good. But some people will say it's the Chiefs or the Chiefs, but I think it's not this year. But
No, I understand you don't want to talk about it, but we probably speak about like yeah, the Jags beat the Chargers 35-7. I
yeah.
understand the offense. I understand the offense line has been pretty shaky, but I don't
Oh man,
know like what's been going on with the
they,
defense because
they've
there are times
rough.
like even during the Steelers game, the defense is actually like making plays look good, but
I
how they
don't
give up
know.
how they give up 35 points to the Jags. And I know the
I,
Jags.
I don't know. I feel like they still remember, but like for some reason they've had struggles with the Jaguars. Obviously, with that the game in the playoffs that they lost, that
Mhm.
they were up, and that was in Jacksonville, and then they lost that game. I don't know what's wrong with the defense. Offensively, Justin Herbert was getting killed yesterday. There was one tackle which it was a normal tackle. I don't think it was a flag. Or I think they threw the flag in that one, but he just kind of slammed them, but that wasn't a flag. But Justin Herbert's getting killed there. He is getting
Mhm.
destroyed. The offensive line is horrible, horrible, horrible. But like I said, there's some games that they play well, and there's some games they don't. So it's just like it's tough to trust the Chargers right now this season because like the way they played against the Steelers, they played well and they won that game. But then you play against the Jags, they lose that one. So it's just like very inconsistent. The run game wasn't there. Justin Herbert again is the leading rusher of that game. But I mean, they still have a pretty tough schedule. They have the Raiders, obviously. They play against the Eagles, and the way the Eagles play in defense, I mean, I don't know how Justin Herbert's gonna come out of that game because
I
that was
mean,
gonna be tough.
I mean, kind of like to touch on the Eagles too. I mean, respect with the Sunday night game was kind of didn't really live up to the expectations I originally had.
I
It
Yeah, I
was kind
kind
of
of felt.
boring, but
I mean, I fell asleep during the game. This was boring. I was expecting a lot of points. But for we've noticed this Eagles, they offensively not the best.
yeah,
But their defense is great. They're
yeah, their
one of the
defense
best
looks
defense.
good, but it's like I don't know how long these offensive struggles can carry them into the postseason if they can really defend their title. I
Because they
mean, the thing with the Eagles, like I know they probably like thrive off of criticism and just controversy because AJ Brown, yeah, kind of had the week where like he went viral for what he said on his Twitch stream,
Yeah.
and
I
I think he
mean,
only had about like
it wasn't wrong though. He wasn't wrong. I mean, whoever dropped him, I mean, he only had 7 catches, 49 yards. So he didn't
like
really for people fantasy wise. He didn't really do much, and he hasn't really done much this season. So he was right. Just say drop me.
yeah, but like this is what also kind of makes the Eagles. I don't want to say scary, but a little maybe like unpredictable. Like they're having these lulls in the regular season of their offense, but like you never know if they start turning up their offense in the postseason.
They're still winning
So
games, and they're still
mhm.
winning games, even though they're offensively they haven't been great, but they still managed to win the games, and it's because of their defense. Their defense is the one that's keeping the game. Jared Goff looked like Jared Goof yesterday. He looked
Yeah, it's just
horrible.
it's like I also don't want to count out the lines, but I think the defense was affecting their offensive rhythm and their timing
Yeah,
because I know Dan Cable took over the play calling, which I thought would have an effect, but I think maybe in that regard, it
You're
kind of
you're
their defense. I think their defense wasn't prepared for whatever he threw at them. That
yeah,
was the only reason they probably lost the game.
the Lions defense is really good. You know, they made some good plays and they were able to stop the tush push too. Um, but offensively, I think you're kind of seeing now that Ben Johnson, you know, having Ben Johnson out there, you're kind of seeing it. They have some moments through it that they're explosive, but during
Keep
these
in mind,
games,
keep in mind also, I think Sam Laporte is on IR too, so I think maybe that probably affects what they do schematically on
not
offense too. But
Jameson Williams is was coordinating offense. I mean, he had one touchdown, but I feel like they gotta do more with Gibbs and Montgomery. That you know, I feel like they gotta run the ball more. You know, obviously, Gibbs had 107 yards receiving, but I feel like both of them, they got Sonic and Knuckles gotta. I feel like they gotta do more stuff with them too, and then that will probably open up the offense a little bit more with the receivers like Williams. I'm not saying Brown. He only had two catches, 42 yards. Like your number one guy, he only has two catches. Like that's not
yeah, I just
you offensively. But I mean, as of right now, the Lions are out of the playoffs. So
I mean, there's still part of me that still thinks they can. I want to. I mean, I still think they can make the playoffs. It's
yeah,
like their offense is just going through some lulls right now. I think it probably was like maybe the play calling's having an effect on that.
they play the Giants next, so we can see their offense in that game, and it's an indoor game. So Jared Goff, he doesn't have to wear the two gloves, and you know, outside the dome, I think outside the dome record is not as good for Jared Goff, but. Hey, they still they have two home games. Matter of fact, they have three consecutive home games. They play the Giants, the Packers, and the Cowboys. And the
yeah,
way the
and
Packers are,
yeah, and coming into this game, their defense was kind of beat up too. So I still think there's some probably enough time to like get some key guys back on the defense,
yeah,
and that'll probably help them out as well. But yeah, I just yeah, it's like
I'm
certain
not counting. Yeah,
yeah, it's like certain losses you still question them, but it's like I think missing pieces also contribute to the losses too.
yeah. But we'll see. I still think the Lions are gonna make the playoffs. But the Eagles, I feel like I don't know, man. Defensively, they're great. This defense is great. Just offensively, they just haven't got it going. But like you said, they could get it going in the playoffs. We'll see, and that's the scary part. So we'll see what happens with them. And to wrap it up, let's just talk about another game: Seahawks versus Rams. Two really good defenses, divisional game.
Cooper Cup
Yeah,
came back to LA.
yeah. Cooper Kupp came back to LA. Sam Darnold. Now, a lot of people still have a lot of questions. Sam Darnold, even though Sam Darnold has balled out, has played well last season, but there were still questions for him. Can he do it in big games and big moments? This is another game, another big game for the
Threw
first of
four,
the division.
he threw
He threw
four
four picks.
picks.
Four picks. Now, I think Sam Darnold is a really good quarterback. I think this just was a bad game, and that game that he had, the bad game in the playoffs, was against the Rams too. And
Yeah,
this,
so it's nice that you bring that up because I guess like the Rams kind of had like the Rams had like a good playbook on how to defend Sam Darnold.
yeah, the pressure.
Hmm.
When he's under pressure, and they send the pressure, I think that's kind of the blueprint to beat Sam Darnold and to get him to throw picks. And he didn't have his best game, but the fact that he didn't have his best game and they were still able to win the
Yeah,
game too.
yeah, it still comes back to like Seattle's defense, and I think the thing with Seattle is like they were winning games. I guess like when Sam Darnold's not turning the ball over or he's playing well, but I think they kind of got away from the run game. But now they're kind of coming back to the running game, which could also help their offense. I think they probably need to establish more of that
Hmm.
because it was still a close game at the end of the day. They were still
Yeah.
finding ways to score without Sam Darnold having to be like having to play hero ball. So I feel like yeah, I'm kind of like yeah. When Sam Darnold was playing well, he was in the MVP conversation. Now this one bad performance, now everybody's going to start saying, "Does he really
And, and,
deserve that?
and
Does he
that's the
really
thing
deserve
of
to be in the MVP conversation?"
and that's the thing about the NFL is week to week, and what happens. I still think he's in the MVP conversation. He's balled out this season. Has shown, like I said, I think he's a really really good quarterback. I still believe in this team. And the team believes in him. They support him.
Hmm.
Even their linebacker was like, yeah, he's still our guy. Like it wasn't his fault. He said he took all the blame, but it wasn't his fault.
Yeah,
Like it's all of us. We could have done better defensively, or you know what I mean. They could have done better, but I mean, I still think the Seahawks are a really good team defensively. They can do better, um, and they're a really good team. But they're playing against the Rams and playing Matt Stafford, another MVP candidate.
yeah. The
So,
NFC West, excluding the Cardinals, is still pretty tight in that division.
and the Cardinals put up points though, and they look better with Jacoby Brissett, which he broke a NFL record of most completions, 47 completions. But I mean, the Rams are really really good, and that Stafford and Devontae is like that combo is deadly, especially in the red zone.
The Rams offense will always show up in the defense. Their front line is still something to be reckoned with. So,
Yeah, Jared Verse and
and just a reminder, like they were still that one team that like still kind of like had the Eagles on the ropes in the playoffs. So honestly, the Rams, I was like the one team, maybe the one team I'm actually kind of seeing like I still think they can probably do some damage in the postseason.
that's what I'm saying.
Especially,
And and if they meet again against the Eagles, that would be a really good game. That would be a really good game. See if the Eagles can put up points against that defense too. And there's two defense going at it, and then we'll see what the Eagles offense is going to be. Eventually, we'll see what happens. But offensively, the Rams are really really good. So that's a team that could potentially we could see them against the Eagles in the NFC Championship too, or the Seahawks too. Seahawks, their defense is really good. So that's what I'm saying. The NFC is it's a tight. There's a lot of really good teams and a
mhm.
lot of defensive teams in that NFC. But I like the Rams. But I don't. It was just a bad game for Darnold. Like I said, this is the Rams have his number. I still think he's a good quarterback, and I think he should still be in the MVP conversation. I don't know about you, but I mean, everybody was just waiting for Sam Darnold to have a bad game because then boom, they were gonna be like, this is who he is, which sucks. It shouldn't just be off
I
one
mean,
bad.
yeah, but like you still got to give credit to Mike McDonald. He's still
Yeah,
put like early in the season, he's still putting them in positions to like actually still be a force to be reckoned with. So yeah, the Seahawks is still we're not gonna write them off just yet. It's just
no,
one bad game.
yeah, I'm not running off the Seahawks, and I'm not running off Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold has really really showed that he can play in the NFL and he can be a starting quarterback. But we'll see,
Yeah,
man. We'll
and
see.
yeah, going back to the NFC West, yeah, Brock Purdy, he finally came back, and the offense, they looked like they're still clicking. There's still question marks about their defense too,
Mhm.
which will probably affect them. They still have a winning record, so that's
They don't
also
have Fred
something
Warner.
like yeah, that's also something with the Niners. Like their offense can still keep them in it. It's just like I don't know about their defense.
Yeah,
I don't know how
we'll
that's going
see.
to affect them long term with the rest of the season.
Yeah, because let me see the last. They're 7-4, and they got the Panthers, which the Panthers they're 6-5. Who would have thought? And can still win the division too. You know, they can still win the division, and the
Yeah, the
Panthers look.
Panthers are pretty. I think they're probably maybe one of the biggest surprises of the season.
Yeah, Panthers. The Niners got the Browns. We'll see how that is. They got the Titans. So those three games coming up, those are winnable games for the Niners. They're pretty winnable games. I feel like they'll probably win against the Titans. Then they end up the season with the Colts, the Bears, and the Seahawks. So those are the last three games that they have. They're pretty tough. Um, but like I said, that NFC West is it's wide open. Anybody can win it, man. But we'll see what happens. Any last words before we end this pod?
Shit, Jamar Chase.
We'll see what happens. Should the NFL come back to Madrid or no? Or Spain? Should the NFL come back to Spain or not?
Uh, maybe I think they got to have some conversations in the offseason. Maybe bring a team that's probably gonna put up more points, has more
I mean,
appeal star wise.
I mean, the Commanders fans they showed up, and when they probably made this decision to put those two at the time, the Commanders,
Yeah,
Jay
obviously
Daniels, the team
he
can't
can't predict
predict.
what happens in the future. It's
Yeah.
just yeah, a little. I don't know what was more. I don't know what was more disrespectful. Them trying to show the international fans what football was, or just like the display of football that was out there throughout
Yeah.
the game
Hey,
internationally.
but that stadium is beautiful. The Bernabeu for Real Madrid. That stadium is probably one of the best stadiums in the world. Obviously, with their field that they can switch and underground and all that stuff. But yeah, it was a bad game. It was a boring game to start off the morning. Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think it's
It
been
was
a
a good.
while, but I think the NFL needs to go back to Mexico.
Yeah, Mexico. They definitely bring the crowds up, and I feel like
Hmm.
the NFL got to go to. They just got to go to places where people love football. So like Ireland was a good idea. People and Ireland they love contact sports. Obviously they do rugby and everything, so they love contact sports. So that's a good market for them. Mexico obviously they love football. There's a lot of Steelers fans, a lot of Cowboys fans, Niners fans,
Yeah, I think they
Raiders.
were like the reason they haven't been playing in Mexico. I think there were issues with like the stadium or like
Yeah,
some
this yeah.
contractual stuff, or
Yeah, no,
I forget.
the stadium is being remodeled for the World Cup, which I think
Mhm.
it should be done by March. But yeah, they should go back to Mexico. I think they're doing Australia next, right? Or
I
no?
think they,
They
I think
want
in the
to?
years past, I think in years past, I think they even tried like Japan, but I think that was probably for like a preseason game.
Australia would suck because Australia, you that long flight and then you got to come back. I mean, that would suck for any team. I don't think any team would want to do that. I think the Mexico trip is probably the best because it's just depending where you are. If you're Dallas Cowboys, it's like what an hour or two flight, so it's pretty close to them. But yeah, I mean, I think Ireland was a good spot. Mexico's a good spot. London, I don't know. It's crazy
I
because
mean,
I saw the like Spain and they and in the NFL shop they had every team's jersey. Literally every so now I know why when you go to the when you see it on TV, everybody has like most random jerseys and not even the team they're playing.
yeah, that's a good point.
So that's what they're probably doing. So I feel like, Spain, they're not gonna watch football. They don't really watch football. So American football, they're more about soccer. So they wouldn't know or basketball. I would understand if basketball goes there, but football is not it's not the market for them. They probably won't go back to Madrid. Yeah. But we'll see then. But we'll be back with another episode next week. Till then, peace.
Goodbye, everybody.